One day, two of Jesus' followers, an apostle Paul and his friend Barnabas, were in a city called Lystra. Paul and Barnabas were in the city teaching people about Jesus. While they were teaching, Paul saw a crippled man in the crowd. The man had not been able to walk since birth. Other people may have overlooked or ignored the man since he was crippled, but Paul saw him and obviously had love and compassion for the man. While Paul was teaching the crowds about Jesus, he saw that the man was listening to his words, and he could see that he believed in what was being taught. Paul looked at the crippled man and without an inch of doubt proclaimed, "Stand up on your feet." At this, the crippled man stood up and he began to walk. God had healed him. When the crowd saw this, the people thought that Paul and Barnabas had healed the crippled man instead of God. Immediately, they began calling Paul and Barnabas the names of some of their other gods. The people started to do special things for Paul and Barnabas because they thought that they were gods. But when Barnabas and Paul heard this, they were so upset that they tore their clothes and ran into the crowd shouting, "We are humans. We are here to tell you about the only living God. God healed this man, not us." Then some Jewish people from another town who did not like what Paul and Barnabas were teaching came in and turned the crowd against them. They were so angry that they grabbed Paul and threw him down on the ground. Then the people began to pick up stones and throw them at Paul to try and kill him. They then dragged Paul outside of the city. They left him there, thinking he was dead. The other disciples came out and found Paul lying there, bruised and beaten, wondering if he was dead. But when the disciples gathered around him, to their amazement, Paul got up. Everyone was stunned that he had survived and knew that God had saved him from death. After that, Paul and Barnabas left the city of Lystra and headed to the next place where they would go and teach more people about Jesus. When the apostles saw how Paul reached out and showed love to a man that others would not give the time of day to, they knew that God has love for all people, and so should they.